Excuse me, if I could get us to... I just got a little frog in my throat here. If we could possibly get ourselves to settle into our shared sacred space. Hello, welcome to the University Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Chloe McElroy. I use she, her pronouns. I am about 5'4". I have red hair with space buns, and I'm wearing a flowery dress. Just in case anybody can't see me. I would like you, I already welcomed you to the Shared Sacred Space. We welcome you, everybody who's here in person, and everyone who is also joining us online, of course. Please say hello to all the people joining us online. I would like to invite you to silence your cell phones, any doodads, anything that makes noise. If you can silence it, please try to. We'd appreciate that. I already did that part. Okay, cool, amazing. We're going to start our service today with committee moments. So if there's anybody who is part of a committee that needs to come up and share something that is up and coming, please come up to the mic. If you cannot make it up to the mic, please raise your hand and I will be happy to bring it to you.
Good morning. Long time no see. I've been gone a long time and I am excited to see a lot of unfamiliar faces here. Since the last time I came. So yay, welcome to visitors, and I hope you're enjoying the crowd here because we are in my opinion, a lovely bunch of people, so diverse and so interesting. Oh my gosh, you get into conversations with them people individually and you'll be so surprised at our backgrounds and talents and knowledge. And if you need a name tag, and I've forgotten to print you a new name tag, or if you are just a friend that's been attending in a while and you should get a name tag too, let me know. I'll print you up one. And Paula made a
Snaps
bunch.
for Paula, everybody.
And I'm not going to go through them all singly to show them to you, but they're all very unique and individual, and they have such personality. And if you, like Gary Levins, are still walking around with a string around your neck, come on, Gary, that does not reflect your personality at all. Get yourself a pretty beaded name tag.
Okay. Pop of color.
All right. Thanks.
Call it out, Gary.
Joey Cole, this is not for committees, but anybody who will be here next Sunday, and I know a lot of people are going to Susie and will not, your loss.
It is
Next
me.
Sunday is my 80th birthday, and I am throwing, woo-hoo! I agree. I'm still up and walking around. So I am bringing an ice cream cake to church. I would love you to stay after church and have a piece of cake with me. Wish me a happy birthday. That to me would be the absolute best way for me to celebrate my birthday. So I'm inviting you, if you're going to be here next week, please plan to stay after for church and have a piece of cake. Thank you. Ice cream cake.
Ooh, even better.
Hey there, Allison with marketing. So, you've probably heard and seen in the notable news that Film Day is coming up. Well, it's today and next week. So don't get too scared. We'd love as many of you as possible to come share a short, brief testimonial on why you love Triple U or why you came to Triple U, or I have a bunch of prompts here. I can read a few of them. You would start with, hi, my name is Allison. I joined Triple U because, or what I love most about Triple U is, or my favorite part of service is, you get the idea. It's supposed to be fun, not stressful. I know people get stage fright. It's really chill. Anne can attest to it. Anne was really nervous, but she did great, one take. So if you're up for it, after service, we're going to try to do that out there in the Memorial Garden. Just one at a time, I'll coach you through it. And I have a little form for you to fill out as well. And for those of you online, it's just occurring to me, if you want to participate, what is a good email for them to email, Kelly? Marketing at PR at Okay, PR at universityuus.org. So if you're interested in participating online, folks, you can too. Just send it on email and I'll get you a form as well. Okay, Thank you.
Hello, I'm Peter. David McElroy wasn't able to be here today, so he asked me to announce about our meeting tomorrow night, the men's group. We meet every month. It's a good group of guys, and we show up at 6:30, and you can bring something for yourself to eat, or we'll share some of what we have with you. So hope to see you then, tomorrow night at 6:30 here.
Yeah, my husband's going for the first time ever because I nagged him to go. So I'm so excited. I just wanted to say thank Laura Owens on behalf of the Social Action Committee for all the people that volunteered for the postcard writing, which we did 500. And to Martha for getting the stamps, I appreciate that, and Evelyn getting the names, and I really and for Lori for organizing it, so it was turning into a bit of a cluster. So we mailed 500 to people who hadn't were registered but hadn't voted in the last 2 elections. So, and we're going to do another one. So I really appreciate all your help for that. Thanks.
Hey guys, there's not going to be a work day next weekend. Not. My daughter, Erin, you guys have met her, is graduating after 8 years of college and a 4-year degree. But she's moving to Tampa and going to get her own new job and life, and I'm helping her move, so no work day. However, a couple big projects that we do have going on. We are there's a member helping us with some finances, and we're revamping the conference room. So anybody who can paint, and I don't mean like a picture paint, but like paint walls. So we can use some volunteers on that. And then we're working on the safety committee action items, but we just don't want to do a July work day. It's too freaking hot, and I got to move her into Tampa. Yeah. Good? All right.
Well, Derek stole the thunder, but I just wanted to let you know, just be aware if anybody's having meetings and things like that. We are working on the refresh of that room. The hope is that we would paint, get a new conference table in there, and just make it look a little bit more inviting in there. So if you have time available for either helping with painting or moving some of the books off the bookshelves, those kind of things, email facilities@universityuus.org. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, but yes, so just letting everybody kind of know that's happening, and we would need appreciate any help. And the safety training that we've been talking about, don't forget to mark your calendars, is August 11th after the service. It'll be our quarterly meeting as well as that. So we're going to make it really fun and inviting, but we really encourage everybody to come.
Forgot to mention for membership, I'll be conducting a UU 101 August 4th after services. And what that is for newcomers and visitors who want to know more about us and Unitarian Universalism. We sit back there for about an hour and have a fun conversation. So I'll be reminding you and hope to see you there.
Amazing. I also just wanted to cover exits with you guys. We do have an emergency exit over here to this side, as well as if you go down this hallway, we have an exit back into the play yard back there. We have an exit back out into the memorial garden, as well as the one right behind me. So we have plenty of exits, so just take note of them. It is also flu season, and it is sickly season, and as much as we love sharing with you guys, we don't want to share your germs. Please keep them at home, and you can join us online. We love that we still have the YouTube and Zoom streaming service, so we can all still share community together without sharing the things we don't want to share. My opening words today come from Esther Holbert. It's a poem called It is Not Easy to Find Love at the Center. It is not easy to find love at the center. There is not a set of instructions, numbered 1 through 7, or maybe 8. It is not easy to find love at the center. Today, in Covenant, we celebrate our living tradition, which invites us to take deep breaths of fresh air into the newness of every day, so our minds, hearts, and spirits will continually flourish. It is not easy to find love at the center, so for today, we gather in covenant to celebrate the reality that love is at the core of our beings, and that love will guide us if we open ourselves to the challenges which love requires of us. May we accept this challenge with dignity and grace. So may it be. All right, our opening music today will be Just As Long As I Have Breath. We'll have the congregation, as well as led by Reverend Michael Richards, and E.T. will be our accompanist today.
Thank you. Please join me, if you will, and stand if you are able. Sing the hymn books is number 6. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love. Thank you. Be seated.
Beautifully done. Our chalice lighting today will be done by Luna. She uses she, her pronouns. She is 6 years old, and she had surgery on her eye, but it went well. All right, Luna dear. All right. So now that we lit our chalice, please join me with in the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. We also like to affirm our community together, so we read this affirmation to affirm it. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. we'd like to welcome any of the visitors we have that are joining here this morning. We have a called minister who speaks to us about twice a month, and she is also speaking with us today, so that's exciting. We have a lot of other various people that come from the community. We have different religious speakers, different professors from UCF or Valencia, Rollins. We have so many different colleges surrounding our community. So we have a lot of different services. So please, we invite you to come at least 3 different times, because you'll at least see 3 different services that way. And you can make sure you get a good idea of what we're all about here and what our vibe kind of is. So since we are in a community here, I invite you guys to say hello to your neighbors and listen for me to call you back, please. What does a waterfall sound like? Thank you, Amy Mowbray, for teaching me that one. You live on in our hearts. Joys and concerns are a time when we get to share our joys with our community, as well as help with some of the concerns to get unburdened from our hearts. We welcome you to come up to the mic, and or I can bring the mic to you. As just a reminder, yet again, that we are streaming, so this will be out in the world forever. So anything you don't want shared out in the world forever, maybe we shall keep to ourselves.
So, this is not my joy or concern. This is from someone else. And she asked me to bring this to you, Evelyn Shilland, because she's not here. So, please help. My son and I need a relatively good, whatever that means, SUV type of car. We have been renting one for many months as my son has cared for me. It has swallowed up our savings. He is a carpenter and must have a hauling vehicle for lumber and tools. A well-to-do uncle has generously offered to help us out if we find a used, not too old, under 50, it says 5,000 miles, but I think she meant 50,000 miles. But I still don't think you're going to find a used SUV. Anyway, she has $24,000. This is difficult these days. Please get the word out. We would be grateful, Evelyn Shilland. So, having said all that, she's grateful to have her son here. He still has to make a living somehow, so there you are. And wishing them both the very best. I don't have such a vehicle. Well, I'm not putting her phone number out here for the whole internet to know, but sending a message to me, I'll forward it to her. I'm in contact with the woman. Okay.
School's starting again, my concern. But at least holidays are coming up.
I have a few joys. Number one, John and I just got back from Canada. We were there for a few weeks. We went to Montreal and Quebec City and Toronto and Ottawa. It was really nice. Weather was cool, so that was great. While I was in Quebec City, this is my second joy, I got confirmation that I'll be part of a textbook on food and religion. I'll be writing the definitive chapter on religion and vegetarianism, which is basically my dream scenario. So this will be my first peer-reviewed piece out there, so it's super exciting. And then my third joy is that my brother, who is 18, just got back from a 7-week road trip across America in his van with his girlfriend and the dog, and they all survived. So we're happy for them.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. My concern, my grandson and his wife heard a loud argument outside their house that ended up in fatal gunfire. And they were able to provide the Ring camera video to the police. It makes me sad when people try to solve their problems with gunfire, as we learned yesterday, and feel sorry for the people that died and were injured in the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump yesterday. And it makes me sad that we have so much people thinking the gunfire is the answer, because it's not.
Hi, Rachel here. I haven't been here physically, but I've been able to enjoy Zoom over the last several months. I have had joys and concerns. I've been helping my family deal with my father's diagnosis of leukemia. He's in Philadelphia, so I've been doing a lot of traveling. I've also been helping my uncle, who's in southern Florida. And I also, as a joy, went to a professional nursing conference. I am a manager of a labor and delivery unit, and I had a poster presentation accepted into my national conference. So I traveled to Phoenix. It was very hot, and presented there, and it was a great accolade. My concern, and the reason that I purposefully came here today, was that we had a terrible loss on my unit on Friday. And you can look up the Amniotic Fluid Embolism Foundation if you want to learn more or educate yourself on that. But it's 80% fatal. And it was heartbreaking and tragic. And out of respect for the family, I don't want to talk a lot about it, but as a leader, I'm also there to support my team. So I went in on Saturday morning and I took a care basket for my team and I talked to them. But I also had pre-made plans to empty out my uncle's condo, so I had to drive down to West Palm Beach and thought I couldn't come here today. I went up to get the cart from my labor and delivery unit to bring down to my car to get the basket out and all the drinks I had gotten. And as I approached my car, there was a dragonfly hovering around my car that followed me all the way as I packed up and went to the door of the hospital. And then it dawned on me that I have dragonflies on my... And I thought it was a sign I had to make the effort to be here today because I'm feeling broken and I need to be healed with my community. So I drove to West Palm Beach in one day, came back last night, so I'm here today and I feel your love and I'm so happy that I could be here.
Thank you, Rachel. So I have a couple of joys. I just got back early yesterday morning from Casper Mountain, Wyoming, where I served again as chaplain for our Quest Mountain West UU youth camp. And I have never been so happy to be back at sea level, and was actually happy for humidity, which is odd. And my other joy with that is I sobbed during our last worship service around the fire Thursday night because our UU faith is going to be okay. These kids are amazing and get it and understand it on a level that even I, as a minister, sometimes struggle with. So we're going to be okay, guys. We're going to be okay.
Hi, it's Peter again. I had the delight of being able to teach people loving kindness meditation yesterday on a one-day retreat. I've been teaching people how to meditate for a long, long time, but this was a joyful experience. There were 13 of us there at a yoga center up in Apopka, and a good time was had by all, and it seems quite appropriate considering the topic for the discussion today, loving kindness.
My joy is today I'm going back to school. My name is Allie. This is my second time as a guest with my mom, Jill. I just want to express the joy that I have of the openness of generational and all of that, and just the vibe, and just like, hey, I remember you, and taking the, can I do this for you before I can even say it, because I feel very scripted sometimes, and it's just so open and inviting, so thank you.
Hi, my name is Luna, and I'm happy that I'm here, and I hope everybody's having a good time.
Love that.
So I have a joy, but I just have a quick question because I haven't been a full-time teacher in a bit. When is school starting? Well, August 12th. Okay, because I was like, it's sounding like it's starting this month, and I'm it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't have to like August. Okay, all right. But I understand the dread of it's coming. It's coming. I don't want to go. No, I understand. I'm also a little concerned because I feel like I might be saying this a little bit too early, but I think we found a house, and we're putting an offer on it. We still had to take a look at some things, but we already drafted up an offer, and we're going for it. So.
Good morning. My name is James, and I've been coming here for years. And I'm so grateful to be here and happy to be amongst you. And back to the storm. I'm going back in Haiti tomorrow morning. But this time, it's not really for an exciting project that I want to do, but unfortunately, last Sunday at the same exact time, my grandmother passed away. So I will be honored to be there for her, to see her one last time. So I'm heading back in Haiti to be there for the family. But unfortunately, my mom can't really make it back in Haiti because of some passport issue and not on time. But I'm happy that I will be there for the family, and I will be spending her last moment on earth with her, looking at her, smiling, because she was a joyful person. She passed away at 83 years old, but, you know, we want our grandmother or grandparents to live longer than that, because as a grandkid, you know, they love us. They love us, and they treat us better than our real parents. And you can always get along with anything with them. The special treatment and everything. And I was really blessed to be one of his favorite grandkids. And thank you, but I'm going back to the storm, but I hope you guys keep me in your thought. But hopefully I will see you next year or December, or if I can make it back here. But thank you for having me. So I will be traveling to Haiti early tomorrow morning. And thank you, Martha, for taking me.
A grandparents' love is truly special. I agree. If you wouldn't mind, do we have anybody checking online stuff? Okay, cool. I just want to double check. So if you wouldn't mind just taking a few moments of silence for those joys and concerns that were spoken and those that remain in our hearts. Thank you. Our time for all ages today will actually be presented by Lindsay Stroh.
I'm reading from the book Letters to Live By, which was written by my mother Margaret Sutton, me, and my sister Meg Eckstein. And my sister did the illustrations. My mother had written verses when I was little. I learned them like you would learn Bible verses, each one about a value. And then when I grew up, I said, Mom, there should be stories to go with those verses. Why don't you write them? And she said, I'm busy. Why don't you write them? And so I started, and together we wrote them. And after she passed away, my sister said, I always wanted to illustrate those stories. Where are they? And I found the manuscript, and we updated them and got them published. And I'm glad that there's a lot of kids enjoying them now. And there is a activity and discussion guide that I wrote to go with it. Today our story is L is for love. L is for love, for laughter and light. Love guides me and stays with me all day and night. By the way, in each story, the child's name begins with a letter. In Little Falls, there were lots of children whose names began with L. Lily, Lorenz, Leah, and Lucy. And there was Elizabeth. Her name didn't begin with an L except when her father called her. Liz, he would call, and she would answer, Here I am, Daddy, and throw herself into his arms. It had been that way as long as she could remember, just Liz and her daddy. The other children didn't know Liz because she had just moved to Little Falls. She isn't very friendly, they said to each other. Liz looked away when they talked about her. She wished things were the way they had been before. Even her father was different since he married Miss Linda. Dad said she could call her new stepmother Mom, but Liz couldn't make herself say the word. Tonight after supper they had played a game that Miss Linda had brought home, and it was fun. Everyone was laughing. Liz liked Miss Linda a lot, but sometimes she felt left out and missed having her dad all to herself. The doll she took to bed that night was the only thing that hadn't changed. A step sounded outside the door. Next slide. It's her, Liz whispered, holding her doll closer. She'd pretend to be asleep, and then she wouldn't have to decide what to call her father's wife. Still awake? A voice questioned. How did you know? I had my eyes shut, Liz answered. I just knew. Would you like to talk? What is there to talk about? Liz asked. Your daddy, for one thing. He wants you to be happy, and so do I. Did you have a good time at school today? I didn't like it. Nobody spoke to me. Did you speak to anyone? I don't know anyone, Liz replied. They're all strangers. I know, and I'm a stranger too. It must be hard. It isn't hard for you, Liz burst out. Daddy loves you now. He hasn't any love left for me. So that's it. You think love is like a jar of jelly that can get used up if you spread it around. Love is big. The more you spread it around, the more you have. Liz, may I call you Liz? I guess so. That's what my daddy called me. At school, they call me Elizabeth. Liz made such a funny face when she said it, her full name, that they both laughed. Take us, for instance, Miss Linda continued in a soft voice. When your daddy showed me your picture and told me how special you were, I knew I would love you. Now we're a new family, and I want to make you happy, even if you don't love me. But I do love you, Liz said. She hadn't meant to say it, but it just came out. I'm glad, Miss Linda turned to leave the room. Wait, Mom, Liz called. You forgot to turn out the light. I forgot something else, her new mother said, bending over to kiss Liz, and her doll, too. Be happy, she whispered. Then she turned out the light.
Our interlude and offering will be Wake Now My Senses. We are going to have the congregation Janet this time, and E.T. will be accompanist. Maybe you can say it better.
And Alicia will play piano.
There you go. That's the way to go.
Weak now my senses, and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving it receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Voice each pilgrim her quest farther to go. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Weak no compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor, both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end.
Beautiful piano playing. I got it. We always welcome our. I got Caitlin. Good. We always welcome our children to stay into the service, but if you would like to go out, you're more than welcome. We'll go ahead and sing you guys out. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day. Thank you, E.T. All right, today for our service we have our own Reverend Dr. Tracie Barrett, who will be talking to us about living our values with love at the center. So without further ado, I welcome Reverend Dr. Tracie Barrett.
So over the last 3 years, I have stood here and preached about love just about every single sermon. Not the ishy, squishy love, but the powerful, liberating, and life-saving love Unitarian Universalism has to offer a hurting world. The newly adopted wording for Article 2 of our Unitarian Universalist Association's bylaws presents this love as a verb, not a noun. Quote, love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Well, what even is the spiritual discipline of love? Now, I've been asked that in a lot of different ways by a lot of different UUs over the last 2 years. Well, let's start with what a spiritual discipline is. A spiritual discipline or a spiritual practice, they pretty much mean the same thing, is anything that when done regularly cultivates spiritual development. In other words, if we think about our own life and our own personal journeys, a spiritual discipline is something that helps move us along that path to being our best selves. In Unitarian Universalism, that can look like a lot of different things because of our pluralism. My spiritual practices are a mix of some of the practices I learned as a child in various denominations and some of the pagan practices I have picked up as an adult. Those are what move me along my path to being my best self. And yours may be completely different, and that's what makes us such a rich tapestry. And what binds us together is that ideally our spiritual practices are rooted in love. Well, what does that mean? It means that hopefully all of our varied spiritual practices operate out of a sense of love, not fear, not hate, love. In the traditions I grew up in, my spiritual practices were rooted in fear. Fear of hell, fear of making God mad, fear of ending up on the outside of that inner circle. So I did the things. I went to the prayer meetings. I guarded my heart against all evil things, the definition of which would shift and change on the regular. And I stayed scared. Scared of messing up, scared of being found out that I was questioning, scared of not measuring up to the unknown measuring stick upon which my soul would be measured. And those kinds of spiritual disciplines are exhausting. Sadly, a lot of the spiritual disciplines I had back then were rooted in hate as well. I had to do the things I did to prove that I was better than the people deemed outside of the circle. I'm not proud of that time in my life. And I know that it was because I didn't know of any other way. I was taught, like so many others, that those outside of our walls were there to be brought in whether they wanted to or not. I was taught that I was helping them, even when they didn't necessarily need nor want my help. So what does that look like now? Well, now my spiritual disciplines are rooted in love, and that means that I'm using them to check myself and make sure that I am operating out of love in everything that I do. And this leads to the other question I get asked a lot by UUs. The question often sounds like, but it's really hard to have loving feelings towards, you can fill in the blanks, I'm sure. And that's fair. Yeah, I have a list too. That's fair, and it's true. Working on a spiritual discipline of love doesn't mean that I have those ishy, squishy feelings of love for everyone, because that is just simply unreasonable to expect. We're human after all. No, what it means is that I check myself and make sure that what I'm doing is operating out of a place of love. It means not getting down in the mud with others and slinging hate and fear. It means making sure that the decisions I make attempt to bring more love into my immediate circle and not fear or hate. That sounds easy, but truly isn't. It's a regular gut check. Are the words that are about to come out of my mouth ones that uplift and allow space for the other person to grow? Or are they ones that will tear down, instill fear, ignite hate? Kathleen McTeague says, quote, "Fear's pronoun is singular. I've got to watch out for me and mine. Love's pronoun is plural. We're in this together, and together we can grow things that will blossom even in the time of drought." Fear's pronoun is singular, and love's pronoun is plural. So if the decisions and the disciplines I make and do come through a lens of love, how does that manifest in my daily life? Well, as I mentioned, it means I check my words before they come out of my mouth or my fingers. It means making sure that I am grounded and connected to that best self of mine before I speak, act, or express myself in other ways. It's not easy. Please know that. This is something I've been working on for years now, and I'm nowhere near perfect on this, and that's okay too. Because that's what spiritual disciplines are all about. They're not done once, they're done daily, over and over again. There's no, well, I did it, so I'm there now. It's about practicing them over and over again until they hopefully become easier and more automatic. It also looks like struggling and wondering what the best decision is. It looks like trying not to kick myself when I get it wrong. It looks like restoring and repairing when I do get it wrong. But let's get down to brass tacks about this. Having a spiritual discipline of love means that I look through the lens of love when I vote. That looks like voting for people and causes that don't cause harm, because there is a lot of harm out there, harm that comes out of hate and fear. We've seen it a lot here in Florida over the last few years, and every year it seems like it can't get worse, and yet it tries. Using love as a lens for my actions when it comes to voting means that I'm going to be aware of what's going on out there rather than burying my head in the sand. Now, I'm not going to go deep into it today because that would be a whole 4-hour sermon, but I encourage everyone here to read up on Project 2025. It is terrifying. And I need you to hear me when I say this is nothing new. The things in there, the plans that are being written down to be operated on, are not some new idea. Now, I've said this to many people for many years, that this plan has been talked about in certain circles at least since the mid to late 90s. And how do I know? Because I heard it preached from the pulpit when I was in the evangelical church. Using love as my lens means I have to read the hard things, because otherwise I cannot be prepared to operate out of love and protect those who need to be protected. In her book, Emergent Strategy, Adrienne Marie Brown says, quote, "Perhaps humans' core function is love. Love leads us to observe in a much deeper way than any other emotion. I think of how delightful it is to see something new in my lovers' faces, something they may only know from the inside as a feeling. If love were the central practice of a new generation of organizers and spiritual leaders, it would have a massive impact on what was considered organizing. If the goal was to increase the love rather than winning or dominating a constant opponent, I think we could actually imagine liberation from constant oppression. We would suddenly be seeing everything we do, everyone we meet, not through the tactical eyes of war, but through eyes of love. We would see that there's no such thing as a blank canvas, an empty land, or a new idea, but everywhere there is complex, ancient, fertile ground full of potential. We would organize with the perspective that there is wisdom and experience and amazing story in the communities we love. And instead of starting up new ideas or organizations all the time, we would want to listen, support, collaborate, merge, and grow through fusion, not competition. She continues, we would understand that the strength of our movement is in the strength of our relationships, which could only be measured by their depth. Scaling up would mean going deeper, being more vulnerable, and more empathetic. For me, love is the ideal that I hold myself up to. Am I doing what I'm doing out of a space of loving or not? And again, it is not easy. Fear lurks in the corners all the time. Sarah Sutherland Dean sums up love as spiritual discipline when she says, "Someone called me a bleeding heart liberal. It was not intended as a compliment. However, I will always consider it one of the biggest compliments of my life. My heart bleeds for the underdog. My heart fights for those who can't fight. My heart rejoices in seeing others overcome adversity. My heart desires love and peace for everyone. My heart is compassionate and empathetic. My heart sees pain in others and wants to help. My heart believes in equality. My heart sees the good in people. And my heart chooses action over fear." Love over fear. Love over hate. I truly believe that a radical love can change our world. And how do I know? Because it changed me. As I mentioned, I grew up in traditions where spiritual disciplines were rooted in hate and fear, which led to a lot of hate and fear coming out of my mouth. And again, I look back on that time in my life and I shudder because it wasn't who I am at my core. And I don't just say that to make myself feel better. I know, because even during that time, what came out of my mouth caused me harm too. And it felt gross, and it felt icky. And I felt that I couldn't challenge it because of that fear that I was entrenched in. And I tell you all of this to tell you that we as humans are capable of so many things. Deep pain and hurt, and deep love and healing. and change. I truly believe that everyone is capable of changing. Now, capable is not the same as willing. I am aware that there are some who are so entrenched in their fear that they aren't willing to step outside of what has become comfortable in order to change. Love as a spiritual discipline, as a lens, gives that opportunity and space. It also creates brave spaces where people can be vulnerable. And in that space of being vulnerable, true growth and love and change is possible. Love as a spiritual discipline doesn't mean that I have to be able to love everything about everyone. That's unrealistic. What it does mean is that I have a choice in every encounter I have. Am I able to see them as human? Am I able to see that hate is often rooted in fear? Am I able to see that fear allows people to lash out? Am I able to see that each of us carry stories and experiences in our hearts that cause reactions instead of responses? I have great hope that if we put love at the center of what we do as individuals and as congregations, we really can change the world. I have that hope because I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. It's happened to those I know. It is happening in denominations across the U.S. Change is possible. When we cease to see that, we are no longer using the spiritual direction of love to guide our actions. Let's show the world our love. Let's show ourselves and those around us our love. And let's get out there and change the world. Amen. May it be so, and blessed be.
Amazing. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Tracie Barrett. We're now going to extinguish our flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth.
The warmth of community or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Didn't want a light, now it doesn't want to go out. Our closing music will be One More Step, performed by the congregation. Paula Despang this time, and E.T. will be piano playing for us.
All rise. All 4 verses. One more step, we will take one more step, till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word, till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer, we will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song. And be seated.
Thank you. My closing words today are actually from a writer who I learned a lot about love from, but as of recently, she has been spewing a rhetoric online that is not anything she ever used to write about. She discludes people from feminism that she doesn't find fits that mold. But I still enjoy what she originally wrote in her literature when she was originally teaching me about love. The quote is, "Do not pity the dead, Harry. Pity the living, and above all else, above all those who live without love." And it was a quote from Albus Dumbledore. And I think, yep, we have a postlude. I will welcome E.T. back up. Thank you so much. Go in peace.